What's up? All right, so if you've seen my first two videos already, which you haven't, they're here and here, links in the description below, you kind of have an idea of what I'm about now. I shared with you why I'm an American nationalist, broadly went over it, and I also gave you my little prediction I made in 2021 in regards to the shift of 2026. Those were more serious videos, but today we're going to take a couple steps back, look at the bigger picture, and acknowledge certain details that I believe are important before I start diving deep in the stuff that people are going to want to kill me for. Kind of first off, I believe we're at this point in humanity where we are capable of having these conversations in a diplomatic fashion when illuminating issues that are very hard to talk about, whether they be emotionally manipulating, scary, make you feel guilty, maybe something we should feel ashamed of, whatever it may be. I think we've made it to this point. You know, I'm pretty sure most people too are very well aware of the pineal gland. I think we have cumulative wisdom throughout hundreds, if not thousands of years surrounding all sorts of these issues. And I like to propose where we should go from here. You know, it's the circus, right? A lot of what I'm going to talk about has a lot of divisive outside rhetoric around it. And it's just a big game to a lot of people. And you have people from foreign countries, very interesting. X just made it so we could see where people are posting from. And as an American, we kind of found out a lot of people from foreign countries are trying to manipulate our politics on the internet. Now, thankfully, the internet isn't everything, but at the same time, it's getting to that point where the internet is directly impacting reality. And it's just the circus, All these people are the circus. Donald Trump's the circus. I don't know. Ian Omar's the circus. I am the circus now. Anyone that puts themselves on a camera like this is inherently part of the circus. I like to expand on the pineal gland too. Um, Again, I think most people just know what it is now. If you don't, look it up. I mean, the Pope literally has a pine cone on his staff. Those who don't know, the pine cone is a direct representation of the pineal gland. But the cumulative wisdom, where do we go from here? We need to go through some very basic truths real quick. First one, everybody, and I mean everybody, no one's exempt. No one is exempt. Everybody is a blood and soil nationalist for the people they like. No exemptions. Everybody has a select group of people that they really, really care about, way more than others. And I'm just not going to pretend like that isn't a truth. Everybody is like this. Not all cultures are equal. This is a fact. This is not a subjective opinion. You really think that the United States, our culture, is anything like India? If you actually saw, there was some kid that went down there for the poop flinging festival they have. I don't know why or what, but it's just they literally all gather and sling and eat shit with one another. If you think that's not even like being rude, that's just what it is. Maybe I'll link a video for that as well. I like to link videos if you can't tell. But not all cultures are equal, and I think it is foolish and ignorant to pretend like that is a fact. And it's just really the challenge of grabbing every perspective you can, because you want to be very aware. Like, you want to put yourself in other people's shoes. That is how we can get to conclusions that make sense. The devil tempts a hungry man type of thing. If I was born in Iran, I would probably be a Muslim. That's another good example. If I was born in North Korea, I would hate the United States with all of my heart. So, if I was born in O Block, South Side Chicago, oh, that's a tough one. In addition, just putting your face on the internet at this point in time is absolutely insane. Because we have AI now, I am literally planting my opinions into the Palantir database. And honestly, at the same time, it kind of drives me to be my best. I want to do this as honorably as I can. I kind of want to go upriver, no matter how hard the stream is coming down on my face. That's what she said. But I want to be my best. I want to be better with each video. I have found that I thoroughly enjoy going through the process of making these, fact checking myself, criticizing myself, I have a lot of fun doing it. Throw in there too that I am no expert. I am an expert in nothing, a jack of all trades at best. But I really am not a huge, a juggernaut, mega brain, 160 IQ type of dude. And that kind of makes me think too, like, at some point, I am going to try to get people on here with me. Just specifically people who are more well sounded in certain topics. And I think this channel would be a lot better too if it was just conversational. Everyone say hi to my cat. Because honestly, just at the end of the day, just like everyone else who posts on the internet, whether it be the crazy boomer bitching about Biden or Trump, or the 17-year-old that doesn't know shit from piss, I am arrogant enough to believe that my thoughts and opinions hold value. And I'm open to whatever criticism, like actual constructive criticism that will come my way. That ties into the desire of wanting another person on here. Like we could actually have a real conversation and it's less like me just talking to a camera. Arrogance isn't inherently a bad thing if it is used in good faith. Okay, so you kind of already know the common themes that are like bound to this channel. I'm not going to be touting them every single time I jump in front of the camera. I just kind of wanted to bury it to your skull that I am pro American nationalism, and I think Gen Z is going to be a big deal in the near future. The theme you'll probably see most is American exceptionalism when I get into more our history, founding fathers, whatever, music, the arts, what we've created, the wonderful culture that is the United States. That is going to be probably highlighted more frequently. So I kind of been thinking too about the roadmap I'm going to take here in regards to order of videos. And I think before I get into current events ideas, like, what's going on today following the news, here's my opinion about this, here's my opinion about that, as if you asked for it, I will probably do it in order of a religion video where I'm going to do the Jewish question, the attack on Christianity, and then a video about Islam as well, specifically in the United States. But I was thinking too about when do I do the Jewish question video was a question I kept asking, and I think I have to do it first. White guilt, infinity, illegal immigrants, the open degeneration of our culture, black victimization, the very obvious wars that they are shoving us into, the very noticeable concentrated monetary power that they have, the blackmail over our politicians. They did Epstein, by the way. I know if you don't think that Mossad and Israel was a part of Epstein, you are on crack. That was a blackmail operation to keep our puppetitions, you know what, we're going to rock with it, to keep our puppetitions on marionette strings, making them influencing to do whatever they want them to do. Because our politicians, for the most part, don't represent the people anymore. My governor was in Israel like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Remember here, guys. Okay, take a step back. Not every Jewish person is controlling the government. I just want to throw that out there. This is a big, big one where you have to separate the individual from the society, from the religion. The Jewish person that lives down the street and works at the corner store is not operating a blackmail Mossad scheme on Epstein Island. Okay, they don't have control over what Israel is doing, just as I don't have control over what the Catholic Church is doing. Which kind of brings me to when I go to Christianity, the Vatican is cucked. The Vatican also touts the illegal immigrants. They all, like, infinite illegal immigrants. They also are spouting about helping the Zionists. And it's a bunch of garbage. It goes in with the attack on Christianity. But again, this is going to be, I'm the one out here sticking my neck out. You want to get mad at me? Go for it. I really don't care. You can call me a bigot. You can call me an anti Semite. You can call me a Nazi. All these words mean nothing to me. I am an American nationalist. But we will have to do religion first. I'm gonna try to do this as honorably as I can. I don't want you to go out attacking random people. I will also do a generation breakdown at some point. I don't know if I'll do all of them. Gen X is literally called the forgotten generation. I don't think people care about what Gen X is doing. They're literally just boomer light. But there will be a video about the boomers, there will be a video about Gen Y, and there will be a video about Gen Z at some point. And that one I will be able to talk more about just what's going on culturally, go through the 90s, go through the 60s. What was life like? How do we think the way we think as a generation? That sort of thing. And a big one, I will definitely be talking about race. That hasn't been hidden. I am unapologetically pro-white. That doesn't inherently mean that I hate other cultures either. That doesn't inherently mean that I hate the African American man. White people are the only ones who have to explain themselves when they say they are pro-white. So just throwing that one out there. I'm not going to go too deep into what is the current pro-white movement, but I thought I would throw that in here because we are very justified in believing so. The Great Replacement is not a theory, it's very real. We are 8% of the world's population now. And it seems like a lot of people really want revenge. We're just so terrible, aren't we? Yeah, no. We aren't playing that game anymore. You have been emotionally manipulated by people who hate you if you have white guilt still. And one of my goals here is going to be grabbing that white guilt out of your soul and throwing it in outer space by painting it in an honorable way. Like I said, doesn't mean you have to hate everyone else. Let's move on. And yeah, once I get these messages off, I will kind of go shift toward current events and more fun stuff as well. Another thing I'm going to have to talk about is I'm going to have to do a dive in on Nick Fuentes and the Groypers because they kind of are the biggest movement you can say when it comes to American nationalism. And I kind of just want to throw my own flavor into what's going on there. Um, I can understand why a lot of those young men believe what they do. I just believe that I understand where the nasty rhetoric is coming from. Not that I'm like supporting it, but it's part of the hostile environment. This was very predictable like 5 or 6 years ago, with your extremist right and extremist left getting wackier and wackier. Like I remember there were articles in like 2015 that were stating in a decade it's not going to be Republicans and Democrats anymore. It's going to be like communists versus Nazis basically, and they're kind of right. So I will have to go in and give my opinion on that because no one can keep that kid from Chicago's name out of their mouth anyway. I'm sure there's some of you who are thinking, oh, this kid wants to be Nick Fuentes. Like, so I'm going to have to talk about it. And I guess for the current events, most likely what's going to happen is something's going to happen in the news. And then it's going to be like, oh, perfect. This lines in with the topic I want to talk about. And I'll probably just do it when it's relevant, when you actually care. I honestly think a lot of people just don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to word themselves correctly. And at the same time, I think a lot of people don't even care to listen. There is a lot of hatred in the world, and I feel it. I understand why there is. That doesn't mean you have to be too, but I can't help you understand why people are thinking the way they are. This applies to both uh, the mentally ill communists on the left, Antifa. We are going to get to Antifa another time. I more have sympathy and pity for them than I do hatred because I know how they got there. But it is exciting because I really do think I am capable of at least getting some people to understand what the hell is going on. Those who are curious. And I understand the only ears that are going to hear are going to be those that wish to hear. I'm just going to do this as I can. I imagine my posting schedule will vary. It depends on the topic too. I imagine JQ is going to take a while. Jewish question will take because I have to be so careful. But again, at the same time, we got to have a spine, man. Once again, reminding you, look into Azapac. They're getting traction right now. It's kind of crazy, like watching it in real time. Like they're actually kind of moving. They got candidates now that they're starting to give money to. Like it's wild. But hopefully you hang with me during this. Hopefully you understand that I am doing this in good faith. I am not doing this because I am a hateful chud or whatever the hell. So next time you'll see me, we will be hitting the gas. We're going to dive straight into the mess with the Jewish question probably being my riskiest video, just because everyone knows. Everyone knows now. My little teaser is that they are both disproportionately in control of our global institutions, our politicians, most monetary power, while simultaneously a people whose back is against the wall societally. Your average Jewish person is legitimately probably scared for their life a lot now because of their corrupt elites. So, with that being said, hope you stick around. Hope you hear me out. Again, this channel is the longest hear me out of all time. I'm honestly excited to take you along here. Welcome to my mind. Welcome to my brain. I really do want to warp that idea that everyone who is a nationalist on the far right is an insane maniac, right? So, glad you were here. Glad you stuck around. And I'll see you next time, man.